Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's GSC Weekly News Podcast. I am your host, Harry, aka Knavish Crayfish, and we have a full house this week, which is lovely to see. We have with us Adam, aka Oh No, Not Addy. How are you doing, pal? Oh, did you come through there? I didn't think I heard you.
Oh, I said hello.
Oh, yeah, that's why, because it cut out. Well, he's
Oh,
there. Nothing.
stop. That's acting, darling. Yes.
Oh, I see. Oh, you got me there. Well done. Well done. Our resident thespian. I always forget. And of course, as well, we have Mark, aka We Work the Hive. How are you doing, pal?
Hey guys, good to be here. I'll just go with words, which normally are heard better by humans than Harry's dog whistles. So yeah, good to be here.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, and it's no empathy ever at any point. Only daggers. It's V. How you doing, V?
I'm good, thanks. I have absolutely nothing funny to say after what the other guys have just done, so I'm doing good. It's good to be back on the
Excellent.
podcast this week.
Good stuff. As long as I can communicate with the majority of the group here, we're all okay. Definitely. Yeah, we have had a fun week, and obviously, if you're here for the podcast, you kind of know the general drill. But for those of you who are new here, we are the Game of Social Club. We are a site that covers video games with news, reviews, previews, editorials, guides, interviews, all manner of things. And the website that is www.gameofsocialclub.ca. The one thing you should know about us is that we run everything through a filter for you of no rumors, no bullshit, none of that sort of stuff. We only deal with what is real news, and we make sure of that every step of the way. So you can guarantee that whatever you're reading from us at that moment in time is at least the real news. Alongside that, obviously, we have our little YouTube channel here that you've stumbled across, Game of Social Club, where we do our weekly news podcast that you're watching right now. And we will be getting a couple of other things up and running in the near future, I believe. There have been rumblings on our Resonant Discord of new things coming up. Alongside that, we have a couple of guide videos every now and then going up, and occasional interviews as well with developers that we try and do as often as we can. Obviously, if you're enjoying this video, please like the video. If you have any questions for us or any feedback, leave it in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this sort of content, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us out, and share it with friends and let people know what we're up to. We try to do a pretty sort of easygoing show here. Just talk about a bunch of different things. Couldn't get my words out there. And so, yeah, that's, I think, everything that people need to know. We have a lot of community stuff on our Discord as well. You know, we try to do monthly games that we're all playing as a community. I think the game right now, well, no, it was Vanquish, if I remember correctly. Is it still?
Yeah, still for this month. I think a few of the guys have got through it now.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, we are currently playing Vanquish as a community. I unfortunately not got to that. I've been quite busy myself, so have not got round to that. But hopefully we'll find time by the end of the month. But yeah, I think that's everything that we normally cover in our little spiel at the beginning, our little rigmarole, as I call it. So yeah, rolling into the what have we been playing section of our show. And we'll start off with, I hope he's going to talk in words this time. We'll start with Adam. What have you been playing, buddy?
What have I been playing? Well, I finished Atomfall. Huzzah!
Yes.
Blue Clay. I did
He's
the
free. He's
1,000
out.
as well. Got every ending. Finished it. Got my review out. Very much enjoyed it. In the contender for Game of the Year for me this year, I think. For now,
Wow, big news. Okay.
it's still early days. Still got to finish Avowed, do Assassin's Creed, and South of Midnight, and then that's just what's come out in the first 4 months of the year. Just 2025 is stacked. But yeah, very much enjoyed it. It was a little. It didn't lose its way at the end. The ending, it happened, but there's of little consequence because you don't really even see what happens. And you don't really find out much about the protagonist who you're playing as, which I feel like they probably should have. Why did you wake up unconscious in the thing with amnesia? Who are you? What is it? Just some sort of nameless Brit running around
Oh,
the
really?
window? Yeah, so you don't. Well, from all the stuff I found, and I scoured the place.
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't really find any sort of that insight into those things. But it's still well worth a play. Really good fun. And the people's criticisms of that it's like a walking simulator. He's running back and forth. I don't think people are playing it properly. If you mainline objectives and you go in between markers on the map, then yes, that is what you'll find. But that's not what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be kind of exploring each area, gathering insight and intel, and then taking what you know to the next place, see if you can figure out what the hell's going on. It's like a mystery. You wouldn't just go, I've got one piece of information, I'm going to run across the countryside to 5 miles away and just hand in my one piece of thing. You go exploring and stuff, don't you? So no, I loved it. Really good fun. Would very much recommend it. And play it on Survivor as well, because I think that is the proper experience where you can mess around with the settings. It's really cool that you can do that in like loads of different ways.
Mhm.
But really reducing it, like really having it on the kind of no markers on the map and that sort of stuff, and just exploring and figuring it out for yourself is quite rewarding, actually. And I'm usually quite a nervous sort of person. Tell me what to do. Where do I go? But I think it's built well enough that it does guide you where you should be going, but without like go to this point on the map. You figure it out yourself, and that's good fun.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that element of when I've been playing it. I need to get back to that as well, definitely. Atom's been a lot of fun. And yeah, that sort of organic kind of gameplay is really, really interesting. They made a lot of interesting choices with it, which very quickly differentiated it from all the comparisons. We said this before on one of our previous podcasts about this, how everyone referred to as Fallout UK or whatever it was, Fallout the Peak District or something like that, or the Lake District, and it's like, no, it's not. It's got enough going on that makes it different, definitely.
I feel like it does a disservice to the game, to be honest. If you call it that, I feel like it's not really anywhere near a Fallout game. If from my perspective, it's its own thing just because it's post-apocalyptic, and it's not really because there's still a civilization. It's just like that one particular area is wrapped up in a quarantine zone, so it's like, and that adds a different layer because the government is trying to control that and maintain it without it like becoming a national thing. Hence the quarantine zone. So it's got its own vibe. So there's DLC coming, story-based DLC, and I kind of wonder if they're going to give us like this is what the actual ending was, because there's like 6 endings, like based on who you escape with, implications of that. So we'll see if that's if they tell us which ending it is, and I wonder if we'll get a sequel. I don't know. I don't necessarily know it would be in that particular area again, but they could easily do a similar premise in a different part of the world or the UK or wherever. So I think they could definitely do it, because I won't spoil anything, but the nature of the whole driving force, the main objective thing, could easily happen elsewhere.
Yeah, completely agree. No, I think it did a great job at giving itself its own identity. There's an argument to be said it's closer to a Stalker game than a Fallout in that respect. I think.
Stalker, so.
Yeah, I only played the original, the first one. I haven't played the most recent one. So again, I'm not saying that as a blanket statement at all, but just there are parts of it to me I feel like this feels like it's more at home with Stalker than it is with Fallout. Fallout's much more an RPG. This is much more a kind of survival game to a certain extent, with like bartering systems and all that sort of stuff to play. Cool. Anything else then, or is that's sort of been what's taken up most of your time, hasn't it, for the last couple of weeks, I guess?
I feel a bit freaked out. I've done the review, so I had a dabble on War Hospital earlier, which is I think one of our first. What was the first?
It was the first.
Well, the first
game of the month. Yeah,
that I joined with. And so I've tried to get all the achievements for that, and I got unlocked another one today, and I am gonna go try and do South of Midnight over the weekend.
Very cool.
I've been really looking forward to that.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds good, man. Right. What about you then, Mark? What have you been up to?
Also a bit of South of Midnight. So since we were here last week, I've got up to the end of chapter 5, I think. Nice. End of chapter 4, end of chapter 5. So I have a really good time with that. I think the stop motion has been a bit controversial with some people. I know that it's put a couple of my friends off actually playing the game altogether. I was like, dude, just turn it off.
Though, can't you?
Just turn it off.
Yeah, that's the shame, isn't it? Yeah.
You stop watching Wallace and Gromit as well. Bloody sad sacks.
But I think it gives us something really unique, and I think it's really a really solid game so far. I think the story's good. I think it's really graphically impressive. and overall having a good time. However, my single player time has been sideswiped by Lushfoil photography sim, which we got a code for a couple of days ago. So currently reviewing that for the site. Honestly, having a really good time. It's really impressed me so far. It's a game that's been on my radar for probably best part of a year now. For those of you watching the podcast who don't really know what it is, it's very much a simulator, as it says on the tin. But it's all around photography in many beautiful vistas all around the world. So I've been to France, I've been to Japan, I've been to Iceland, and I've got some China and even Northern England on the agenda for the rest of my playthrough. So some really beautiful landscapes created by what I believe is a solo developer, and it really is a stunning looking game, possibly one of the best looking games I've ever played, and certainly the best since Plague Tale 2 a couple of years ago. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. In terms of the kind of the camera settings and everything, it's really it's quite accessible. I was a bit intimidated by all the camera settings at all the previews. I was expecting it to be a bit more of a kind of a camera hobbyist level of camera options, but it's not really been like that. It's been a lot more accessible. I am actually working on a camera guide for the site, so hoping to make things a bit more accessible for people who, like me, didn't really know what they're doing when they first pick it up. So that's a work in progress. But there's just more to it. Every vista that you go to has got a hidden second stage where you come back in a different season, and things have changed. I won't spoil the third part that comes in the Australian level that I've done so far, but it's actually topical to events that have happened in the world as well. So there's some really cool hidden things that you can do, and I don't want to give away spoilers. A few that I've come across so far have actually taken me aback, and things that I weren't expecting. So there's a lot of thought in the game, and it's not just walk around and take pictures. There's some hidden objectives to do. It's just generally a really good time, and I can't wait to get off this podcast and give it another go for an hour before bed. So that's always a testament to a game. So yeah, really good so far.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, when we were at the New Game Plus event, obviously at London Games Festival, I had a chance to sit and play it there. And yeah, absolutely. Like immediately when you just see, I think they even had, promotional cards on the table, and I picked one up elsewhere, not even at their table. Someone had left one, and I picked up like, oh, that's a good photograph. Turned it over and realized like, oh, it's marketing for the game because it's literally just a screenshot straight out of the game. And I was like, wow, okay, this is on another level, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, obviously editing your guide and reading through it, I'm like, this is amazing. Like the sort of stuff that you actually do in this game sounds really, really fun. I was already interested in it because of the opening premise of it, but then to find out that there are a couple of other kind of gameplay mechanics at work here and stuff was really cool. So yeah, color me, intrigued, and I'll probably try and find some time to have a go at that as well. And yeah, I think it's a great idea for the camera guide. Our beginners guides on the site have been doing quite well, actually. We found quite a few people seem to appreciate, I guess, just a nice thing that just kind of goes over the fundamentals, even though the game probably already explains it. People like to read something, I guess, that kind of just says it again in black and white text, just to be like, yeah, this you're right in how you're approaching this. Don't worry, you're good. But yeah, glad to hear you're enjoying that, man. I'm trying not to keep it too long so you can get back to it. And what about you, V? What have you been playing?
Yeah, so this week, I was given a code for a game called Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree pretty late last week, like sort of Saturday. And, one thing we don't do is report on rumors, but another thing we do is we will finish the story of a game before we write the review. Pardon me. To just so if you get to a point in the game where it's just like, oh, this is gone to shit, like second half of the first Dark Souls, like right up to when it I love Dark Souls 1. Please don't come for me in the comments. But, you know, like Lost Islith is
Always
a shithole.
bringing the spicy takes every episode. Never one of us, guys. You notice that? It's always me.
Like, I just
Every
have a
week.
lot of opinions.
Really?
But you know, you could play there was 3 embargoes for Mandragora, and the first one and second one were to not mention after something called the Necromancer fight, which happened 6 hours into the game. Realistically, from what the devs have said, it's like a 40-hour game, so it seems unfair to give a review score after 6 hours when things might get really, really good afterwards, or might go really, really badly. So yeah, I spent all of Sunday, all of Monday evening, all of Tuesday evening, and also all of Wednesday evening, and also my entire lunch break on Wednesday trying to get to the end of the game so we could write up for review. Pleased to say that I did get to the end of the game. It was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it for the most part. The review is up on the site. I did go back to it today after work, actually, just to clear up some of the optional bosses. The Souls like Metroidvania, so you know they have catered to my taste specifically. And one of the characters just starts with daggers. So you know, it was made for me to play.
Fated,
Yeah,
clearly.
I had a really good time with it. Although there were some issues which are reflected in the review. Because again, we do also try and be as objective as possible. So, you know, it's like I had a great time with it. There were some moments in it where I almost messaged our site owner, Dano, being like, you gotta give this to someone else, or I'm not gonna finish it, or but yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun going back and exploring around the places. I think probably the most frustrating part about it is the fact that obviously it's a Metroidvania, but a lot of the upgrades that you would expect from a Metroidvania come very, very late in the game. So you don't get your double jump till like after the 3rd main story boss, but that's like 3/4 of the way through the game. And you don't get like your last ability till basically before the final boss. And the whole point of it is just to navigate towards the final boss, and then you can use it to go and mop stuff up. But the way that this story goes, and I won't drop any spoilers, is like I don't enjoy it when a game is like, this is the end of the world, like end of days. You have to, this is so important. And it's like, but also you could just go fuck about for 10 hours. You want to,
Yeah.
if you want to grind and you want to level up and you want to do stuff, I think like sort of natural level progression and natural story progression should get you to a point when they're like, well, this is it, ladies and gents, like get it together. You don't then have to go. So I think I beat the final boss at level 65. I think the max level is 100. Looking at the global stats today and how difficult I found the final level up till the final boss, I feel like I might have been severely under leveled. So, but I also think that, yeah, there's definitely things off the beaten path, but you don't get enough. You don't get your upgrades staggered enough for you to go and find them before the story just starts to take over, and you're like, well, I need to finish it. I need to, you know, go kill the big bad guy. I need to get this done.
Yeah, so they start streamlining you sort of too early, do they, basically?
I don't even think it's streamlining. I think it's just if you're not paying attention to the story, then you might just be like, right, okay, well, I've finished this boss, I've got this new upgrade, I'm going to go back through all the map to find all of the little bits that I know that this upgrade can get me to. But the way that it's presented in the story is like, there is no time. this, you need to do this now, or like it's going to be really bad. So there's like a bit of a story gameplay disconnect. If you went and did all the things that I did today and got up to level 80, I'm sure the final boss wouldn't have made me want to throw my monitor out of my window. But unfortunately, that's the balance, isn't it? It's like if you're trying to, the way that Dark Souls does it in Elden Ring, FromSoft, they generally have no real extreme story beats. So essentially, if you go into a boss fight and you can't do it, you don't feel like you have to do it immediately. You can just go and wander around and try and find secrets and stuff. But the way the story is done in this, it kind of makes you feel like you're sort of failing if you do that. Like it takes you out of the immersion of the game a little bit.
The sort of a sense of urgency does not hit with it's the bad guy holding up the meteor behind them and being like, I'm going to destroy the world. And you're like, give me 5. I've got chestnuts to find. Whatever it might be. Yeah.
It's an optional boss over here that's going to give me loads of experience. So if you just hold that thought.
No, definitely, I can appreciate that.
Yeah. But then after that, today, I jumped into Blue Prince. Which I am unsure if is making me feel like the dumbest person in the world, or if I'm going to feel like the smartest person in the world after I start unraveling it. All I do know is that I have 3 pages of a notepad that have the scrawlings of a mad woman on it, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I can understand why people are saying it could be Game of the Year. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I have also been playing that, so we'll talk about that as well. But before starting Blueprints, I gave it to myself as a treat because I got to play and review Commando's Origins. And as a big fan of the originals on the PC back in the late 90s all the way through to the early 2000s, it was really, really fun to see this series come back. It was very cool, very nostalgic for me. Lots of fond memories of, hours of my mates all crowded around the school PC monitor trying to figure out it was literally one of the few games they had on our computer in the computer sort of classroom that we were allowed to have. We could have Age of Empires 2, Commandos. I think basically they had to have historical significance, and then we were allowed to have them as video games basically. So we could have probably got away with a lot more, but I think we had a Total War game on there. I think we had Shogun Total War as well. So we got some cool stuff on there. But yeah, I think we had to try and blag it most of the time. But
we were all just playing Miniclip or Newgrounds,
Oh well, yeah, absolutely. When you got that, but this was actual installed games on the school computers, which was pretty cool. So yeah, we were very excited for all that. But no, getting to play Commando's Origins was really fun. The only issue with it was that we got it very close to the deadline of the embargo, and they were the studio. Claymore games were very cool and understanding. We're like, hey, look, we get it. You're not going to meet embargo because we've given it to you 5 days beforehand. This is not a short game. They estimated 20 to 30 hours. I put in over 50 to finish all of the missions. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but I didn't think I did myself any favors by starting it and doing the first 5 levels on the hardest difficulty. I think that slowed me down a tad, because originally the plan was that Dano, as we've the site owner, was originally meant to review it. I was going to be doing the guides as the guide editor, and then something else came up and he went, hey, can you review this instead? And I said, yeah, okay. So I did, and really enjoyed it. You can check out my review to get the full breakdown on that. And yeah, I had a wonderful time. It's a brilliant, updating, modernizing of one of the OG real-time tactics games. Did a good job bringing it to console. Good, I'd say a decent job of mapping controls to controller, but still probably better suited to mouse and keyboard. And really the only thing I would say is that some technical issues in particular were probably what let it down, but the sort of things that hopefully can be sorted with. One level in particular I had several crashes happen on, but I think it's because there was a lot happening. It got quite bombastic, which is not Commando's style. It's heavy on stealth, heavy on tactics, heavy on quick saving, quick loading dozens of times until you've got the right movement of your characters getting to the right places, taking out the right officers, that sort of thing. It's a lot about scanning environments and spending half an hour just figuring out the best course of action just to move 10 feet. There is a very much a feel of sort of what it would have, felt like as far as like, oh, excellent guys, we've made ground in this trench warfare scenario. How much land did we make? 3 meters. Oh, great, cool. Okay, build another trench here. Start again tomorrow. It's like, yeah, there is that very slow, methodical kind of like inch by inch until eventually make it to the end. So had a great time with that. So definitely worth checking that review out if you're interested in real-time tactics games. If you're a fan of the Commando series, like I was, definitely check out the review and definitely have a look at the game. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. I believe it's on Steam and Epic Games Store. And then, yes, I then, alongside some more South of Midnight, I definitely am still enjoying that. I think I am now on chapter 11, so I'm getting close to the end of the game now. I've been really enjoying it. Again, I feel very much probably the same as I did when we first talked about it. I understand the complaints about combat. I still have no problem with them because I'm enjoying the combat. It's fine. It's not like it's bad combat. It's serviceable. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as if it's serviceable, then I'm okay with it. At the end of the day, there's enough in the achievements or trophies, or achievements, I guess, right now to do that. I'm like aiming to try and do that, like do this ability to hit this many enemies, so many times. I'm like, cool, I can do that. I want to try and do that. So yeah, alongside that, the exploration, and the wonderful narrative, visuals, and sound, I'm having a wonderful time with South of Midnight. And then, yeah, like V, started up Blueprints yesterday. I just realized we did forget to say what the date it was. I will put that somehow at the beginning or something like that. I'll drop it in, maybe just a little annotation. But we are recording on Thursday, the 17th of April, 2025. But yeah, I started up Blueprints yesterday, and yeah, I knew I was going to enjoy this. I picked it for my fantasy league because I knew it was going to be good. I was very excited for it. And I'm very happy that it's getting the sort of recognition and the scores that it has been getting. I will be reviewing it for us alongside doing a bunch of guides. I'm doing a beginner's guide for it as well. I've got one achievement guide out already with another one to follow, and then the beginner's guide and the review. And yeah, it's again, it's one of those, like you said, V, it's sort of, I don't know if I'm stupid or if the game is just really good at like laying out elements of it. And again, I'm not going to go into it too much because I don't know how far you are, V, and I also don't want to spoil anything for any of our listeners and viewers, of course. But there is such an interesting way that this game seems to sort of unfold as you're exploring it, which sounds like how it's meant to work. But believe me, there is more to what I'm saying in that sense. It's not just like, oh, I haven't been to this room before, I wonder what it will contain. Things happen in this game that you don't necessarily expect, and it can then reframe a lot of what you've been doing for some time, and that's really interesting to kind of see that happen, and to then realize that actually, yeah, like not a case of not everything is what it seems, but just like there are more things at play here, and there are not just the original set of rules, there are more rules to learn, kind of like there's a little bit of the Witness energy to it in that respect. If anyone remembers that game from 2010s, I think it was early mid 2010s. So yeah, that was this kind of has that same level of kind of energy to me. But really enjoying it. I love the polish of it. The visuals are very nice. It's got that nice kind of thick dark borders and everything, muted palettes, cool colors in general. It's again a really lovely game to play. Very chilled out. It's mentally taxing, but not in a way that feels like it's draining, if that makes any sense. I was sort of trying to think of a good analogy for it, and the best thing I could come up with, honestly, was it just describing it as another type of puzzle, which is as a jigsaw, where you're putting together a jigsaw and you get the edges of it, and you think you know what the image is, and then as you start adding pieces to it, you realize every time, like, oh no, I was wrong. That's not what the image is. And then you add another piece, and you're like, oh, this isn't it either. Like, oh god.
You've never used the jigsaw properly because it's on the front of the box.
Okay. Analogy falls apart if you have the box cover.
Oh
What
my
I'm-
god, it's
if you have
There
a-
is.
if you have a
Wait.
puzzle box which doesn't have the picture, then yeah, that's the situation. I guess is my point.
There's a type of jigsaw called a was jig, and the picture on the box is different from what is actually the puzzles in the box.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. I've never heard of that. What was it called? A was jig.
Yep.
That's cool.
So
I've never heard
it shows the events before or after the picture on the box. So
Oh,
things
that's
are roughly the same, but things are like vaguely in the same place and things like that. But it's like
Yeah.
the scene immediately after something. Or I think there's one that's like 10 years later, like a high school reunion or something like that. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh,
But so
okay.
yeah,
That's cool. I want
better
to look those up.
analogy than I didn't have any analogy for it. I just call it like a clicky finger game. And the fact that earlier I saw something and I was like, I know what that means now. Like, so
Write it down. Write it down.
write that
Yeah,
down. Write that down.
No, I'm doing the same. You know, I'm writing down all my bits and bobs about things I discover as I go.
That's so neat. I'm like just scrolling all over
yeah,
the place.
yeah.
Like,
I bullet point and all that. I do all that. But then the thing is, though, like half of my notes will then be absolutely useless, you know, and I'll have to do them again and all that. So yeah, I think
Always
having the mad woman scrawlings is much more fun.
I never really like a game where I have to have a notepad with me. Like a real life notepad. I was like, no, like I have to have gubbins and extra things to play the game.
oh, I love a notepad game. That's my favorite type of game. Is a good notepad game. That's what this notepad is for. Is specifically for notepad games. Like
The problem is that if I don't do it all in one sitting and I come back to it 2 years later, like what the hell does all of this mean?
There is that.
that's what you've got the notepad for. Like
What it means? What does that scrolling mean? I don't know.
Exactly. What was it? I
yeah,
was
this
writing at
is
3
like
o'clock in the
my
morning.
chance of Senar like notepads bit. Like this is my game notepad where I write down random bits about stuff. Like just
I tell you what, yeah. If these sort of games, like one of the way these games will make a killing, don't bother with the physical version. Just release like you know books, like notebooks with pens or pencils with your like stuff on it, with your key art on it, and people would buy it immediately because they're just like, yes, I have the tools required. Yeah, I think yeah.
They should release like a guide, like a map, and call it the blueprints.
you know like
Get out.
it's good that you explained the joke of the pun of the name there.
It's a good thing he's here, ladies and gentlemen.
To be fair, my friend did message me the other day. He was like, "You should really play this Blueprints game. It's amazing." And then he messaged me later and he went, "Oh, I just got it. Blueprints. I'm an idiot." It was the entire text message.
I did it when I sent it to the Raw Fury guys when I was at GDC last year in London, and I walked up and be like, "So, why is the name Blueprints?" And the guy looked at me like, I'm like, "Oh."
Oh well,
that was a bit
I feel less
right.
dumb.
Maybe that's why we didn't get the
less
code.
dumb.
Because I realised I'm an idiot.
And that's why you get it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that guy. I remember that guy.
Yeah.
The side this time.
That guy's
I
not
wouldn't
allowed to use
really.
scissors. Clearly, you know, we don't send the code to them. Yeah. And what about you, Mark? Are you the sort of guy who's interested in a game that requires like that sort of extra level of note taking or just sort of constant referencing to other material or anything like that? Is that something that kind of intrigues you at all, or are you like, no, I want it all, just keep it there?
In a word, no.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just want once. I want a game that developers made and just dish it out. So
Yeah.
I've not started yet. I've had it sealed for about 3 weeks, like Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've seen that you can have like a canon mode. Like a canon mode to me just sounds perfect. I don't want any of the alternative ending bullshit. I just want to play a game how it was meant to be. So I'm just give me how you want me to play it.
Yeah,
And,
I could agree. I could
very
agree
much
with that.
something like that.
I wouldn't want South of Midnight to be like, you make the choice at the ending. Like, no, you tell the story. I'll play the story. I can appreciate that.
That's me.
But yeah, so
otherwise it ends up being.
What was that? Sorry, Mark.
I was just going to say, otherwise it ends up being like Adam was saying with Titanfall, you end up with about 6 endings, and I've got to play like 6 freaking times for 6 different achievements.
Yeah,
well,
that's just gonna. That's in my bad books.
You can use smart saving and do it all in one and a bit. So thankfully,
Ooh,
that's
don't
played full times.
There's no role playing involved there. Like,
It can, yeah, there is. Because like, well, what type of character do I want to be in Outlaw? Do I want to be the guy who helps the lady who's trying to save the world, or I want to be the guy who wants to help get the weird thing out? What does that mean? I want to hear the creepy voice on the phone that doesn't sound like a human. I'm gonna get that thing.
I like
Oh
that
yeah,
guy. He's fun.
that's fine.
yeah.
Look at Gears 5. We still don't know what the canon ending was for Gears 5. And then we might not know for another 4 or 5, 6 years, because they're not going to tell us with Gears E-Day what happened at the end of Gears 5. We just have to wait
We're
till
never
Gears
getting
6.
that.
And they said
that's
they
true.
We're never
they've
getting
not
it.
abandoned that story, but they're going to do Gears E-Day first, and then maybe we'll find out which one they picked, or maybe they're hoping we'll forget. But we won't forget, will we? We won't forget.
Paddy certainly
I think
would.
that's JD. No, not JD.
Forget it.
You send an angry letter once a day, just one angry email.
Yeah.
Photo of me. There's a photo of me on a stag do, angrily messaging the club that wouldn't let us in because they said we were too big a group and there were 6 of us and it was summer. And he's like, you're not allowed to come in big groups. And I said to the and the manager said, if we all came in pairs of 2, you'd let us all in. But because we're coming together as 6, you won't let us in. And there's a photo of me in the next bar, just angrily messaging. like 7 hours of drinking in. It's like, I'm going to tell them what for.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were going to say there's a picture of me at a stag do in a pub, angrily emailing the devs of Gears 5 about the
coalition.
ending of Gears 5.
Hey, Cliff Blazinski, what the fuck? And he's back. I was like, I haven't made that game in decades.
Definitely not. No.
How did you get my number? But yeah, so more from Blueprints down the line, review and some more guides incoming. But let's move on to our topics of conversation for this episode. We are talking about 2 different things today. We wanted to talk about Mario Kart World. Is it World or World Tour?
World.
Thank you. I thought it was World Tour just because that sounds like that's I believe a racing kind of vernacular type thing. So I kind of assumed it would have been that. But yeah, so Mario Kart World. I saw the highlights from it read up on our piece covering it. I didn't actually watch the full showcase. Did anybody here watch it?
Well, I think Mark watched it because I read his article about it. I did not
Yes, it was
watch
Mark
it.
who watched it. Excellent. Okay.
So
I couldn't keep track of who was watching. I think Candy may have been watching it as well, but I wasn't sure if she wrote it or Mark wrote it. But there we go. So yeah, so Mark, you watched it. Well, why don't you give us your thoughts on it first, since you're the man obviously who was on the front line.
Yeah, I just can't believe after watching that today, we've just never thought that we need an open world Mario Kart game before. Oh my god, it looks wonderful. Looks really, really good. The world looks great. The interconnected maps, interconnected races. Some of the new items look really exciting, but everything that we've seen, I think, looks great. Was on the fence on a Switch 2, but I think I need to buy one just to race as Goomba now, because he just looks too adorable. But yeah, everything that we've seen, I think, looked really good. The new knockout race mode, I can't remember the exact name, where you've got a series of interconnected races, and you've got to be in the top pecking order to make the next stage. Looks really good fun. I think that'll be amazing, like with friends online. Some of the kind of open world features, like the Yoshi's drive-through, going through and unlocking new costumes for characters.
Yeah,
some
that
of
looked
the
very cute.
but yeah, it did. And like just general open world challenges, I love that kind of thing. Just driving around, doing some blue coin challenges, finding collectibles. I just need that. I need that. I want it. I was on the fence on the Switch too, but yeah. And to be honest, like I love Mario Kart, but normally I get a bit bored after doing the same tracks over and over again. If I've got a world where I can just pot around and do my own thing, and that you can do that with friends as well, I think it's going to be an absolute winner. And I put in the article that I've put together on the site everything that you might have missed today at the Mario Kart Direct. It's probably the second biggest game of the year in my mind after GTA. I think it's going to do mega numbers. The attach rate will be amazing. So it's going to be huge, and it looks like it's going to be really bloody good as well.
Yeah. As I know we obviously spoke about it after the Nintendo Switch 2 showcase, I think it was, when we were getting our first glimpses of it, we'd heard sort of like, oh, these are the games coming, and Mario Kart World was announced properly. And then we started chatting about like, yeah, what does this mean? Like, if it's going to be full open world, like, how is it designed? Do you kind of go into an open world area, or do you then just go to a menu to pick your Grand Prix to go into and things like that? And they really seem to have found the best fit for all of that. I feel like, as someone who was really hoping they'd basically make Mario Kart Horizon, they did. They basically just went and made Mario Kart Horizon, which is great because that's the only sort of racing game I've really actually thoroughly enjoyed, other than playing like the classic arcade and kart races like Mario Kart originally. But we've done that. I want to see them do something else, and they have done, and it looks great. I cannot wait to explore it. I love the fact you can just drive around and just find the tracks. They're not hidden. Like, I know that V was very worried when I suggested that last time. They're like, no, don't hide these things from me. Don't make me fight for these. I'm like, no, they're there. That you could but you can just come across them as well, which I think is very cool. And yeah,
Well,
I
put it in a notebook, she'd be all over that. Like, oh, there's the track hidden somewhere. Let me write it down. Oh, there's the track hidden somewhere. That's okay.
Paddy, I'm sorry that you're illiterate, but some of us can read it.
Oh dear. Yeah, you have to solve some sort of
Nathan's
riddle.
going to make a short of that again, isn't he? Just I'm going to be known as the mean one.
You being mean to Harry. Yeah. Well, hey.
Last time I was being mean to Mark. Like next week I'll be mean to you, Harry. Like there you go.
You got that to look forward to, ladies and gents.
Yeah,
Tune in next week.
Yeah.
When I get my comeuppance. But yes, okay. So I'm excited for it. Mark's excited for it. Mark's gone from a maybe to a yes now on the Switch 2 with it. I don't know if I'm quite there, because I need a bit more than that. As much as I like the looks of it and like that, I do need something else. But Donkey Kong Bonanza might be the other thing to help me tip over to the edge of yes. But what about you two? Do either of you feel particularly strongly about Mario Kart? Are you big? I know V, you're a big fan. Addy, were you a big fan of Mario Kart growing up at all, or is this something that for you is a bit like I can do without?
I played a lot of Mario Kart on the N64, really enjoyed that, and the Double Dash was great on the GameCube, and then kind of fell off it a bit. Like Mark, I get bored with it because it's just round and round and round and round.
Yeah.
So the concept of the Burnout Paradise type challenges and stuff to do, like with your mates and stuff, is really fun.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I'm glad that you've got stuff to do in that, because I think that actually gives it more than other iterations of Mario Kart. I will die on this hill though. It is not, from what I've seen, worth 80 quid. I know Mario Kart is worth 80 quid. I can get Burnout Paradise for 5 quid, and Horizon is on Game Pass. You cannot tell me that's 80 quid. Still, I'm still getting it because I'm getting the Switch 2 with it bundled in, but it's not. I'm not paying 80 quid for it then, because it's cheaper. Because I like a bargain, because I'm from Yorkshire. Yes, I would. If I wasn't getting it with the Switch, I wouldn't buy it outright unless it was discounted. I think that's kind of what.
Yeah, for me, real quick, and then I want to hear from V. The only reason why I could see it working at 80 is if they bundled it with the 2 wheel attachments. You know what I mean? Because you got the 2 Joy-Cons. Those 2 things are just literally plastic casings. They're nothing. They're so cheap. Like, Chuck.
So yeah, totally worth 80 quid then for some plastic nonsense around my.
I know, but like at the end of the day, at least you're being given something extra along with the game. They will make you buy those pieces of plastic for £15 each. You know that.
Oh, I know. I worked at a game. These were awful.
But I think that's the sort of thing they can do if they wanted to try and sort of satiate people a little bit, but I don't think they will. They're Nintendo. I don't think they will do that, but that was just my thinking of they could do something like that if they wanted to try and soften the cost a bit. But
on the Wii came with a wheel, didn't it?
Huh?
No, the Wii was separate.
With the wheel, didn't it?
No, it was separate. I think
they were separate.
The Wii, it came in like a bigger box, didn't it? Like a bigger, chunkier box. Yeah, I remember that.
They did like a different bundle later, I think.
Yeah.
But originally it was sold separately.
So an extra one for your nan then as well.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that was just me spitballing there. But no, V, what about you? I mean, you were already excited about this, I believe, when we first talked about it. Thoughts are still the same, I take it? You're still amped?
Yeah, I mean, I love Mario Kart. I don't really get bored of it either. It's the perfect game to just have sitting when people come round. Like not last Friday. Was it last Friday? Yeah, last Friday actually. It was my friend's birthday, and we went round to hers, ordered a massive takeaway, and just all sat playing Mario Kart on the couch for a couple of hours, which was great fun. I'm very excited about the return of the feather, which I believe was only in Mario Kart for the SNES, which was one of the first video games I ever played. So I'm like, okay, you can keep the blue shell, but you have given me back my feather, which presumably means I can jump over the blue shell, and also you can access loads of shortcuts and stuff. My favorite track on Mario Kart for the SNES was one of the Boo's castles, and there was a shortcut that you could only access with the feather, and I'm excited about that. I'm very excited also for the some of my favorite tracks in Mario Kart for the Switch are the ones where it's checkpoint based rather than you're just driving around in a ring. So
Yes.
the
A
idea
to
that
B.
they have that,
Yeah.
the Forza Horizon style long scale ones where, and again, people get knocked out and stuff like that, will be really good fun. I'm excited for that. I'm excited just to have loads of people around, and some wine and to play it.
I thought you were talking about the game, and then you said some wine, and suddenly my picture of the characters all just went all holding glasses of wine whilst driving. I'm like, oh no, Nintendo,
Toad can
no.
have wine. Toad's allowed wine. Like
Toad is many of them is not allowed wine.
Toad is
Allowed
absolutely
wine.
allowed wine. Toad's like in his 40s now.
Yeah.
Take the hat off. He's an old bald man. He's definitely allowed
probably
wine.
true.
He's seen
It's
some
probably
things,
true.
man.
I will agree with Addy though and say that I don't think it's worth £80. I don't. If we're going on just the basis of other games that are the same, Forza Horizon 5 at release was not £80.
Mhm.
So I don't understand why Switch 2 games need to be £80. I know Nintendo have come out and they've said their things, and I know there's going to be lots of people talking about inflation without taking into account the intricacies of wages at the rate of inflation, etc., etc., and the fact that technology has gotten cheaper, so that's not necessarily how it works. But I just don't ever want to be like, all right, okay, this one's worth 80, because you know that then the next studio is just going to be like, oh, but what about 85? Or what about 90? Or, people keep saying it, what about £100 for Grand Theft Auto that I don't particularly care about? But as soon as that barrier is breached, that's it. It's, you are pricing people out of a hobby at that point, which I don't really agree with. And especially with Nintendo, because, this is my very first games console was a Super Nintendo. I would probably never have gotten into gaming the way that I did if I didn't get one for my Christmas when I was like 4 or 5. So I don't want kids to be priced out of gaming when it is the best it's ever been, so that then later they just have no interest in it because their parents couldn't afford it, or they can't afford to save up their pocket money for it. I think that's a very sad state of affairs.
I think there's like a bigger kind of conversation around that, the whole pricing thing of games, and Nintendo are holding their own, but generally the console market is shrinking, and a lot of that is down to cost of games. So if games are going to go up, people are going to move to PC, move to mobile, as they continually do. But obviously that's a whole bigger conversation.
Yeah.
Just on GTA.
If they're stuck on a console, if they're stuck on a console and they know GTA, also GTA is not coming out this year, I will die on that hill as well. Rockstar,
Climbing a lot of hills today.
Well, yeah, the raw sales up in Pennines. No, I think, but people will just be like, oh, GTA 6 is coming out, I'll just save money for that, and I won't buy all the other games in between when they might be able to buy 2 or 3 if they were buying them outright. And then, like I said before, they'll go, oh, it didn't meet expectations, so the price goes up to make the cost, and then they don't sell anymore, and it's just a nonsense.
Yeah. And then they start laying people off, and
Yeah. I mean, this is certainly something that we should probably maybe try and book ourselves in for, see who's interested in having a conversation about this sort of stuff, because it is important and it's something that is prevalent in the industry right now. We've had obviously the issue with, just the fractious nature, the tumultuous nature of this industry for the last nearly half decade, with the amounts of layoffs and closures and all manner of things happening. And now, of course, we're hearing more rumbles of, more expensive games. Console prices have gone up for, PlayStation, only a couple of days ago across Europe, the UK, Australia, New Zealand. We've just seen the prices of PlayStation Plus subscriptions go up in Canada. I think it was literally yesterday, something like that. So, there's all this stuff is happening and it's stacking up. And I think it's going to become trickier for, well, everybody to kind of, keep enjoying this hobby. So we will be moving on to our last topic of conversation for this podcast. We wanted to talk about the Galaxies Showcase, which is a new showcase that premiered on IGN's YouTube channel, if I am correct in thinking. They've been hosting a lot of stuff recently. That's really interesting. And again, always worth checking out and keeping on top of IGN, just because, they do a lot of these premieres and showcases. So I recommend it. But Addy, you were the man watching it, I believe. You were the man covering this.
I did.
Yeah, I know you did a rundown, which I have ready here for me to look through as well. There were a couple of games I certainly wanted to highlight, but as, again, the man who led the charge, why don't you take us through your thoughts on the event, the showcase? You are sort of our resident kind of showcase guy. Give us our verdict on it, and some of your picks.
Yes. Okay. So although the IGN did show it on YouTube, I think they did. It was their own. They hosted it on Twitch. That was where they streamed it, and I think other people would just kind of co-stream it and stuff like that. So I don't think it was like in partnership with IGN or anything like that. It's just that they were streaming it as well.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
But it was their very first one. I don't quite know the history of this, so like where it's come from or who's kind of brought it together or whatever. But it's got some big names attached to it, like Konami and Saber Interactive and Krafton and stuff like that. So there's quite a few big names contributing to it. And when we saw that it was coming, and it had 50 games in an hour, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Because as you've probably heard me complain before, I'm getting sick and tired of gaming showcases going, we've got 7 billion games, and it's like, yeah, but they're all being shown for 3 seconds, so it's like, what was the point? Because no one's going to remember all the games you've got to show, because they're only going to focus on the very first one, the very last one, or the big massive news title things. So it's like, well, all of those other cool things just get buried in the noise. So when they say 50 games, you're like, oh my god. Because quite often when I've done these review summary roundup type things, finding the trailers for those ones that are shown for all of 6 seconds to try and represent it is really hard, because the trailer, either the people who've made it don't think it's worth putting out a trailer for 6 seconds, or it's buried on another channel somewhere, or it just doesn't appear. So it's like, well, how are you meant to then show it? And you can say, oh, this was mentioned, but we can't show you anything. So it's a bit of a shame, really. But actually, this was really refreshing. It's actually one of the kind of the easiest, nicest kind of shows to write, because the guys who were on the YouTube were on it. So like the Galaxies Gaming Showcase have got their own YouTube channel, and they were posting the videos of each trailer that they showed. Every single trailer, apart from the last one. It might be there now, but it wasn't. Inexplicably, the big One More Thing didn't get a trailer on their YouTube channel. Go figure, right? It might be there now, though, to be fair. But like, they were posting it as they started showing it. It wasn't waiting until afterwards. Quite often, you have to wait till after the trailer's revealed. Then you get the trailer and throw it in. And it's on multiple channels. And on, the Future Games Showcase I did recently was quite good with putting all the videos in one place as well. But they were on it, and it had a good description, so you could like really kind of get there really quickly. So I was able to put it out there, 50 games on as soon as it finished. Like, okay, that wasn't stressful at all. It was lovely. And it was just quite nice, really. Can't all showcases do that? But actually, there was every single game got like a good 30 seconds to a minute generally. And there were 2 kind of montage videos, but it still got like there was like 4 games. It wasn't like the Nintendo one, which was all over the place.
Oh my
The one
God,
that-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jesus
where they were
Christ.
like, here's the console, here's the controllers, here's 15 games in 10 seconds, and then here's Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like, what was going on? They did
Here's
like
Silk
those
Song,
montages.
just so you'll shit your pants again. Jesus.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 games, and then it was like, but they gave them like, and they had a video for them. So they had a trailer released for them, and it's like you can show that, and you can see what we're showing rather than going. In previous ones, I've had to go. Here's a bullet point list of the games that were mentioned in this 30 seconds rundown. There's sometimes millions of them, so it was really good. And there's a real good variety of games. A lot of PC games, but there was still some games coming to console, and there was a Switch 2 game shown in there as well, which is quite cool. And there's some throwbacks, some kind of dev stuff. It had a good vibe, really. I quite liked it. It was just hosted by one person. It wasn't overly flashy. It wasn't all over the place. It was good. It was a good watch. Good, clean 50 minutes, just focusing on the trailers. Nothing awkward, really, I don't think. Which is good. There's a lot of good variety from RPGs, loads of indie stuff, some big AAA stuff, and some shadow drops and world premieres and all that jazz. So yeah, lots to be had from it, I would say. There was a new 33 Expedition Cloud Obscure thingy trailer, which was cool. I spent so much time sorting it out that I didn't get to watch a lot of it because I was like writing it up at the same time. But one of the games I
Yeah.
really liked the look of was that Unbeatable,
Yes.
which was like, is basically music is illegal and you do crimes. So I think it's basically you're making music and try to do stuff and try to bring music back, I think, but it's like a 2D side scrollery like 90s style kind of platformer game. It looked really fun. So I was looking forward to playing that at some point. But yeah. And I also love the look of Trench Tales, which just looks horrendous. And I really hope it comes out on console, but it's only scheduled to release on PC. But it's a story-driven third-person action game, which is like an alternative world between World War One and World War Two. And there's like you're like walking through the trenches, and all of a sudden, like some guy in like a gas mask with red eyes comes out the floor, and he's like ready to murder you. And you're like, oh, nice. It just looks super like brutal and horrendous. I'm all for that.
What was that one called? What was that one called?
Trench Tales.
I wonder if that's the one I played at London Games Fest. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
I don't remember seeing it.
I remember seeing that, and I would love to have played that if it
Oh
was
no, I
there.
just found it.
Yeah. But the other one that caught my eye was that Covenant, which is by it's by a new studio called Legion, and it's made up of people who like made Apex, Call of Duty, Halo, Destiny. It's got loads of kind of like legendary developers involved with it. It's like their first game as a new studio. It's like a first-person medieval magic and swords and stuff. It looks very cool. So that's worth a check out as well. From my picks, I'm sure there's loads more, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, as you said, there was 50 plus, as it were, or however many games. So yeah, there was a lot to choose from there. And as you said, it was a nice variety. I want to go and watch this completely just because I caught the first minute or two of it before we started, jumping on to do the podcast. I watched the Expedition 33 trailer because I watch everything related to that. But then otherwise, yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it all. But it looked good to start, and so yeah, I will watch it all the way through. I wanted to highlight just 2 games quickly, and then I want to hand it over to V and Mark for theirs. The 2 that I wanted to highlight, one is because it was a big blast from the past for me, is a game called LAPD 2195, which is a spiritual successor to a game that came out in the 90s on the PlayStation 1. It was sort of an isometric, futuristic action game, basically, where you as a cop are driving around in a vehicle, like this cop car, futuristic-looking cop car, that can then transform into a mech. And you have different abilities depending on what you're using. You'll go around, killing gang members in this sort of, very kind of RoboCop, but you're a car. Sort of thing, which is very cool. And this is more of that kind of, again, up to date and all the rest of it. And I think it's got co-op as well, they said. Looks really fun, really nostalgic for me. And the reason why I remember it so well is because it was a game that I played the first level of hundreds of times at least with my brother because we had a demo disc of it, and on the PlayStation 1 we never actually owned the game, but we just replayed the same level over and over and over again, trying out different weapons and stuff like that, and having such a great time. So that one was very cool to see for me personally. Claire Obscura Expedition 33 again was the other big one for me. But then the other one I wanted to just grab real quick, because I am a sucker for 3D platformers. I believe it was called Legend of Babu.
Yes.
Yeah, that again. As soon as you show me a 3D platform of any description of any sort, I'm already interested. I'm a sucker for those. But it looks It looks really nice. It looks very good, like visually as well. It's still obviously got a kind of stylized aesthetic kind of going on, but at the same time, it very much has this very, very high fidelity look to it as well. It feels like, which is interesting. And again, yeah, just I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see more of it coming to consoles. Only coming to Xbox and PC, which is interesting. So yeah, we'll see about that one. But yeah, those are my two picks I wanted to highlight. As you said, Adam, from a lot of games. There were a lot still. But yeah, well done to you for covering all of them. Who would like to go next? Mark, what were the ones that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, I didn't catch the show, and I'm just catching up with some of the trailers that you guys have mentioned and other things that were featured. But Deliver at All Costs, that's been on my radar for some time. That was at London Games Fest the other week as well. Looks isometric, Grand Theft Auto-like, really good quality physics in the game as well. That's been on my radar for a while, so it's good to see a new trailer. And I think that's got to be coming out pretty soon now. Yeah. Yes, yeah. So that's pretty soon. Definitely want to be looking to get to that next month. And the other one was Ready or Not, which apparently has been on PC for some time. SWAT, ass-kicking FPS. So I'm a sucker for anything FPS, to be honest. So that definitely looks like it'd be up my alley. Close quarters combat, knocking down doors, shooting bad dudes. Just that's me. Give me that.
Fantastic. What about you, V? What are your picks?
So I have two out of the 50 that I've managed to catch up on. I've not seen them all, but I'm sure I'll go back and watch more of it and read more of the article. But my first one is a bit of a surprise for me because it is a survival horror game and I am a massive baby. But it's a game called Video Ghastlies. And I was sort of drawn to it specifically because it's set in 1990s Scotland. And I'm like, oh my God, that's where I am also set.
I'm from there.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it looks really fun, and it looks very survival horror-y, but also again that very 90s sort of cheesy B movie horror vibe. And I do love video games that are set in Scotland specifically because when Still Wakes the Deep was the same, even though that was much more horror-y. But when they get all the vernacular and the mannerisms and stuff like that right, it's just really fun to play through because I feel like people would react to these sorts of things happening depending on where they are from in very different ways. So most horror movies and stuff that we see are like American based, and I feel like people from the UK, people from Scotland maybe specifically, would react to things significantly differently than our friends across the pond. I think it's a film called Dog Soldiers. That's the horror movie where everyone turns into a werewolf. It's set in the UK, isn't it? Yeah. It's an absolutely stunning film and would not work if it was made in America. Like it would just not work at all. So yeah, I'm very excited for Video Ghastlies. Just to see how they're going to translate the very specific way that Scottish people might handle something like this into a video game. Especially because I think it's round about sort of teenagers and stuff. And then my other one is also a blast from the past, and I was very concerned. I thought one of you was going to steal it from me to talk about, but you didn't, so it's fine. It's the reboot of Painkiller, one of the best games of all time. Like, and I'm so excited that they're making a new one. Like, I'm like, okay, don't fuck this up. If you make an amazing new Painkiller, People Can Fly will be my favorite people for the rest of time, because Painkiller is one of my favorite original Xbox games ever. It's just such a game, I think, is the best way to say it. Like, just in terms of, again, we spoke about it when we discussed Space Marine last year, is the sort of like how games are maybe less gamey than they used to be. But it's just like the environments and things like that in Painkillers, like someone made the environment and then went, how the fuck do you get around this level, and then made the gameplay later. And I love that. So I'm very excited. I hope it's as amazing as I remember it being in 2006 when the original came out for Xbox. And I will be following it very closely. So yeah, those are the two that I'm very excited about.
Very cool selection there from everybody. I think we covered a lot of genres very quickly there. A lot of different types of game size, genre, everything, which is great. And interesting to finish on Painkiller as well, because it's nice to actually finally know what one of the games that People Can Fly are actually working on. Because they're working on like a dozen different projects. They've announced so many different things. They've all got code names. They're working on something for Xbox. They're working on something for PlayStation. They've got several of their own that they're not talking about. And finally, we know that one of them is a new Painkiller game. So that's very cool. I think that's some great news. And yeah, I think that is where we're going to finish this episode. Unless anybody has anything else they want to mention quickly, we're going to go into our what to look forward to section, and then we're going to wave you all goodbye and disappear into the ether until next week, of course. But yeah, anybody here want to mention anything quickly? Any other games? Even another game from the Galaxies thing before we finish off? You know, we've got an extra minute. If anybody wants to grab anything.
Yeah, just for the title alone, Chroma Gun 2, Die Hard, as in
With a Y.
Yeah, very good.
Colouring stuff in, and yes, do your thing.
Like it's this episode's tip of the cap of sort of, yeah, well done, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Very well done, Chroma Gun 2, Die Hard. Very good. But yeah, unless there's anything else anybody wants to bring up, then yeah, we are looking forward to obviously quite a few things. It is a week away until Clair Obscura Expedition 33 is released. That is my big thing to look forward to. In the meantime, I will continue to play Blueprints, have my review coming out for that in the future, and a couple of interviews, which I will be trying to get up sooner rather than later. Again, this last week or so has been busier than expected, having covered Commando Origins. But yes, that is my plan. And yeah, hopefully there's something that you guys can look forward to. One of those is with the lead designer of Wonder Stop at Ivory Road, which is a game that came out late last month, which got a lot of flowers from people across the industry, which is very cool. But at the same, and then my other one is for a smaller game called Necroflora that we highlighted during the Steam Next Fest at the end of February, early March, on our demo disc for March. And I got a chance to sit down with the developer and talk with him about some things. So I will be bringing that to you at some point soon as well. In the meantime, though, please do check out this month's issue of Demo Disc. It's up on our site now. If you do not know what the Demo Disc is, it is a collection of demos brought to you in a single article for you to test out. Try it before you buy, if you will. Again, going back to briefly mentioning Demo Discs earlier, I'm super nostalgic for them. I think they're one of the greatest forms of marketing, excuse me, that's ever happened in gaming. And I miss them, and I want them back. So I decided to try and make something similar. And everybody on the team didn't stop me, to their own chagrin, I'm sure. And we now do it monthly. So please do check that out. We've got another one coming up soon. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of knowing that Adam, that one there, has done another bang-up job on the main image for this one. So yes, please do look forward to it. It's great.
It's the most I'll contribute to that bloody thing.
Don't worry, I've got plenty of games for it, Addy. This is essentially my own edition of the demo disc. Like, I had to stop myself from adding things to the list.
I had to put in a personal call to be like, "Are you sure about this? Like, this is a lot of demos you want to add right now. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but this was meant to be me doing this. If anything went wrong, I was the one who's meant to do this. You're now doing it. So no, but I appreciate it, obviously, and appreciate everybody who chips in to help out. But yeah, Adam, what have you got anything coming up that you want to mention? Any games you're looking forward to?
Forward to Globescure 33 Expeditions, obviously, because that looks very good. But I don't know. I'm a bit in the purgatory of don't know what's coming next in terms of games. I'm looking forward to Zombie Army VR next month, which I'm looking forward to because obviously I'm a big fan of the Rebellion at the moment with Atomfall and Sniper Elite. So if they can get their third game out this game in 5 months in the year and they knock it out, I'd be like, well, fair play, hard working dev there. So I'm looking forward to that. Smash some zombies on PSVR too.
Hardworking British devs. That's what we like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 11 miles from where I live. It's mad.
Really? Only 11? Yeah. So you're close to them. I'm close to Rare. So at some point, we're just going to start knocking on doors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please don't stalk people. Please don't stalk people and then announce you're going to stalk them on the podcast.
Stalkers don't knock. We are quite clearly not stalkers. We're just creepy. It's fine.
Speak for yourself.
But yeah, so hopefully, we'll be looking forward to some more Nazi slaying action in the next couple of months then, which would be good. What about you, Mark? Obviously, you've got your Lush 4 photography sim review and any other work coming from that. Anything you're looking forward to?
Yeah, the one that I'm hoping to cover for the site in the next few weeks will be Metal Eden. There's a demo just gone up for that, and we've covered a little bit on the site. So that has some really good shooty fun. So quite excited for that one in the next couple of weeks. Likewise, want Expedition 33 more than anything, but honestly, with a backlog that's just created itself the last few weeks, I just don't know when that's going to happen. So I need to find time for that. Assassin's Creed Shadows, I mean, that's probably taken me about 2 months on its own. So the backlog grows, the time depreciates. So Metal Eden will be the big focus for me once I get through Lushfall. But I should say I'm also need to type up a review for a little indie game called Vinebound Tangled Together, which is actually now released on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. It's a Vampire Survivors like that's been up for a few awards, and it's only a few pounds on the various storefronts, so definitely worth checking out. I need to type up a review, but what I've played has been really good, and it's pretty tough as well. So I feel like a bit of a challenge from an indie, and it's you like Vampire Survivors, definitely one to have on your radar.
Fantastic. And the
so what was that, Addy?
I said I'm obsessed with those games. I've just finished the latest achievements for Vampire Survivors. Just 225 achievements unlocked now, back to full completion.
Oh my god!
I just realised when I was playing through it that I hadn't done some of the non-achievement DLCs, so I didn't have enough weapons to banish 80. So I've had to go through and.
Have you got any seals?
Yeah, I've got all the seals. I've got all the seals.
Okay,
I just don't have enough weapons unlocked.
Oh right, well. I've only got one of the paid DLCs, I think, and that was all. So
no, some of the free ones, if you played them, you got weapons. They just didn't have achievements, so I didn't play them.
I don't have achievement policy. I've got everything.
It's fine. I'll finish it. I'll be fine. I've only got 2 more to get. But yeah, I'll be working on some more guides for Dragora, because there is a few little hidden bosses dotted around that I'm sure some people might need some help finding, because I certainly could have used some help finding them. But yeah, I'll be putting some guides up for that. And I am particularly looking forward to the release of Revenge of the Savage Planet at the start of May. Obviously, looking forward to Clear Obscure Expedition 33, but I feel like we've all spoken about that. So, but yeah, I loved Journey to the Savage Planet. I learned the speedrun route of it, not just for the achievement, just because I thought the movement was so fun. And we've done a lot of coverage for it over the site, with Jamie getting a hands-on preview and stuff like that. So I am super excited to try and rope someone into playing it with co-op with me after I mastered all of the movement mechanics. And presumably, I think we asked them in an interview, actually, I think there is going to be a second speedrun achievement. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to learning the routing and stuff like that of that. And getting guides up for it, and for all the achievements. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Oh, and I will also we have an exclusive interview with Lotus Thunder, Thunder Lotus, sorry, the devs of 33 Immortals that will be
That's
going up
right.
this weekend. So if you guys have been playing the game and are excited about what might be coming up next and want to hear a little bit about the inspiration behind it, that'll be being published over the weekend. Yep.
There we are. That has been this week's Gamer Social Club Weekly News Podcast. We have been your usual crew. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And I know we said it at the top, but yeah, please like, subscribe to the channel, leave any comments below for anything. I'm going to pitch it to these guys afterwards that maybe we'll do a separate episode to talk about our time with Expedition 33 when we've all got to a certain point with the game, because it sounds like we're all excited for it. So maybe that would be something fun that we could do, is maybe do a kind of retrospective on that game after we've all played it and had our time with it. You know,
Like
who knows?
spoiler cast thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and let us know what you think of that idea. Honestly, in the comments, we'd love to hear your feedback. It does mean a lot to us, because it means that we're either doing things right or we're doing things wrong, and we need to know that sort of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, and otherwise, I think that is everything. So yeah, thank you again for joining us, and we will see you again soon. Take care of yourselves, play some great video games, and yeah, bye bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.